Today on the workbench I have another Bachmann Spectrum 460 or a 10-wheeler, and what we're going to put in this is a TCS decoder with the TCS motherboard. Basically it's the 1922 kit, WSK BAC8. So it comes with the motherboard and the keep alives are already on it. And we're not going to use the 20mm speaker they send with it. I'm going to try to put a Soundtrax Mega Bass speaker in it. This is a 23mm square speaker, and I think I have enough room in the tender to put that in. So let's get this locomotive out of the way. Not really going to do anything to that other than actually this has the LED in it, so I really won't have to do anything to it, which that's good. And this whole thing will be used as the enclosure for the speaker, so we might as well get started here. And let's see, to get this apart we have two small screws right there. Let me get a smaller screwdriver. Two small Phillips screws up here in the corner. So we'll get those out. Find my tweezers. There's one. We'll get this other one out. There's that. And this just has two clips in the back that will pull right in, pull right up. So yeah. And this is DCC ready. It's got the 8-pin connector there. So, alright, there's that. So let's go ahead and get this. We'll take this board off. We'll zoom in here a little bit now. Zoom in a little more. And this just comes up with two screws holding this down. So we've got that. Let's pull that up. And we've got our pickup wires. The black and the red is the pickup wires. So let's go ahead and we'll just cut those. That way we don't have to worry about it. Pull that out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to leave this hooked up for right now because these wires are all black and they're all labeled right here on the board. So, but what I want to do now is I'm going to take this. These hold the speakers in if it has a speaker with it, and I want to try this speaker. Let me pull this up. It'll come out there. Okay. So, yeah, we'll have to keep that in there. I thought so, but I wanted to make sure. Stick that part of the brake rigging back down in there. Well, come on. Swivel it around to the side. Okay. Well, guess I was trying to do it the hard way. We got that back in. Put these screws back in it, and then we'll start. Try this thing. Okay, there's that. Let me open this speaker up. Okay, so here's the speaker, nice and tiny. And what I'll end up doing is I'm going to have to modify this and round it off a little bit so it will. Well, actually I won't have to round it off much, but I do want it to sit. Well, that's as low as it's going to sit, but you can see that it is hitting right here, so this would be outside of the tender itself. That would be great if it would sit in there like that. But then what I want to do is, let me get the motherboard out and stuff. Should have had this all opened up. That will sit right down over that. Yeah, I don't think I'll have any problem there. Doo-doo. Yeah, see this? Okay. in just a little bit. So it all right now depends on the speaker placement. I'm going to get this wiring harness out of the way. So you can remove it by taking these two screws out. Pulling that out, and then all of this will slip right through. And that'll pull all of that out. There. We can get rid of that thing. This board. We'll set. I forgot this thing, you gotta cut these mounts down a little bit. Well, not the mounts, but these two posts back here you gotta cut down. So we'll have to cut those down and then see where we go from there. Alright, I did modify, let me pull this speaker out. I did cut the corners off of the speaker there a little bit, as you can see. So that'll sit right down in where we want it to. And then our decoder will sit right down in, right like that. Now, I did cut these posts off back here in the back, and this little knob on this post. That way this kit is made for the non-DCC version of this locomotive. Or there's two, let's go back. There's two different versions of this tender. And this one, I think, is the newer one. So the board, the original Bachmann board is different. So, I mean, this will work because I've done this before. Well, I say I've done it before. I've never used one of these speakers before. But, so that's all going to fit in there quite nicely. What I'll do now is I'm going to take and touch those with black paint. And I can let that dry, because I hate to leave that just bare metal like that. So we'll get that, and then to hold this in, let's see, and now I gotta find a small brush. Well, what did I do with them? Cleaned this up the other day. Yeah, and oh, here they are. For some reason I've got them sitting under stuff. Okay, so I've got some black paint. Just gonna touch those with black paint. Then I can let that dry. So that's that. So I'll let that dry, and then we can use our double-sided tape to tape that decoder in there. Just going to set that speaker in, and I'll put double-sided tape on that decoder also, or on the speaker also. So that'll sit there like that. And that will be a nice installation when we get it all done. Let's see, while that's drying, I can pull the decoder over, turn my soldering iron on, and we could start with this. Let's see. So I've got my speaker wires over there. Right. Here's our track pickups. I'm going to have to get the instructions out because it's been a while since I've done this. Well, these two pads back here are your track pickups, headlight, and this is the motor. So, let's see. Pull this back over. And it really doesn't matter which way that goes. I'm going to have it set like that. So I can start taking these wires off, and we'll solder them to our pads. So this first one we're going to do is the right track pickup. And dump my speaker off there. So it is the red. Strip that off. Move that out of the way. Now it's just a matter of flux and solder. There's that. Get this clean. Okay. Move a few things here. What am I looking for? I'm going to move this pad because I really don't need this pad right now. It's more of a protective thing for the locomotive than anything. So I'm going to get that out of the way. Fold that over. flux some of this stuff up, get it tinned. Might as well tin them speakers pads while we're at it. Okay, this will make this a little easier, I think. Okay, so that's all tinned. Now, get some alcohol and clean that off. Okay. We're all good with that. Flip that other light out of the way. Glares off of it. Okay. Now we are back to our pickup. Move my alcohol out of the way. I'm going to untie this knot here too. That'll give me more room to work. Okay. Now we're straight there. Now we can go right to the board. There's the red, the right hand pickup. Then this L is the black. Strip this off. And then I've got the other 2 wires from the tender there that I've got to put on, but we'll get those in time. And here I go again. There's the black. Now, where are we at? Motor positive. So there's my motor positive. Get my tweezers. Turn that around. Motor positive is this one, and I'd like to keep all the wires going the same way. Motor positive. Now we'll get our motor negative. I'll strip it off. In it, flux it. Now I need to get my wires out of the way. And had I paid attention, I would have put the motor positive on before I did the negative, just for ease of soldering. So that's that one. Now, just wondering why this has two light leads there. We'll have to check that one for a minute, because there's only one bulb in this. So I'll be back. All right, so our two the B plus and the B positive, and the B negative on this board right here are our front headlight. And the way I determined that was with my smart tweezers. So I just put them on the pins in the locomotive and put power to them, and that shows me I have power there. So I'm going to cut this black or B minus. And let me turn this thing around. So really the two that are marked L, they don't do anything in this. So we'll eliminate them at some point here. Let me get this all taken care of first. So that will go to our, that was our B negative. So that's this side right here. Let me straighten this around a little bit. What a jumbled mess here. Well, my land, let me do it this way. Really wanted to hold it with the tweezers, but I'm going to fight this thing. So there's that. Now we'll go back to our B positive. Clean that off. And then I'm just going to hold this one too. So there's basically our decoder wired up, or the motherboard wired up. But now I want to take and cut these two because, like I say, I don't need them. And let's see, I'm going to cut the negative one shorter than the positive one. That way, if we have to get back to it, we'll know what we've got. So let me get that out of the way, that out of the way. Move some of this other stuff. We'll pull our pad back down. We've given our paint time to dry. So now we can put it all together and see what we have. Let's see. May have to just modify that just a touch. And I'm trying to keep that. That'll all sit in there like that. As long as I'm within the confines of that little line there, I'm all right. So I think for right now, we are good to go. I am going to touch this a little bit. That way I can slide that back in. Hit that with the Dremel, so let me... Okay. So now, got everything run down through. I put some double-sided tape on that, stuck it down, and I did forget to film putting the speaker wires on, but that's no big deal. So we'll cut those, and let's see, where do I want to cut that? Just make it a little long. I can run it back over. There's one. And so we'll cut that out. And I shine my other light down on there and it just gets to the point where I can't see anything. I've still got my track pickups to hook up. So there's that. Some flux on these. We'll get them tinned. And then I can hook the other pickups up. There's one. There's two. So I want to cut this off. This is my black wire for my track pickup. And we'll chase this thing all over the place trying to get the wire strip, but I got it. Some flux on that. And that'll go right here on this pad. I just need to keep that tucked in. There's that. Now I want to get it out of the way of my pickup wire. Which is this red one. There's that. Clean that off a little bit. Now, okay. Now I'm ready to test this thing before I put it all back together. So, all right, I will be back in a second. Okay, I'm back on this 460. We'll kind of zoom in on the tender here. Let's see. So what I've done, I didn't use the 20 millimeter speaker that comes with the kit. This gentleman wanted the TDS speaker, so I got the, well, that's the enclosure. So here is the speaker that I'm using, and here's the enclosure for it. Now, saying that, put that out of the way, and here's actually the speaker in an enclosure. I put one in already, and I had to modify the enclosure. I think I took 3 millimeters off of it, and I'm going to do that to this one also. But I'll show you. Let's see, let me get... And I need my smaller screwdriver. So we'll get this apart. And what I did was a bonehead move. The TCS decoder puts out 2 watts. These are 1 watt speakers. So, I mean, it sounded good for about 5 minutes. And then I blew it. So I've got the board installed. Here's the decoder and the WAB or WAC-B kit, the motherboard. There's that. But I'm going to take this off, and you can see the speaker in there and how it fits in there. So we'll do this again. And I've got this double-sided with double-sided tape, and you can see, I mean, it holds really well. Okay, so I'll end up changing that double-sided tape, which that's no big deal. Let me get, okay, my wires are back here. Well, let's see. I want to see if I can get this out of the enclosure before I do anything. So there's that. Pull that around. So what I want to do is pull the speaker wires off of it, basically. And I believe, oh yeah, when I started the video, I started with this. This is a 23 millimeter TDS high bass speaker, and it was too tall. So what it did, after I put it in, it was hitting the decoder. So we can't use that. So that's when I went to the regular TDS speaker. And I didn't show putting the first one in, but I thought I'd show taking it out and redoing it. So now, let's see how well this glue held. I don't figure I'll get this bad speaker out of this enclosure. Nope. Nope, that's going to be a waste of time. That or I'll hurt myself trying to get it out as I still try. So I am going to cut down another enclosure. Let me see what I made this. I think I took 3 millimeters off. And put that over millimeters. 7.4, 7.14. And I just drop that. Oh, this thing is almost 10 millimeters, so yeah, I did take 3 off. Get it back up to 3. Okay. So we'll just kind of mark that around there. I'm actually at 3.02, so that's fine. All right, so I'm going to go cut that down, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got that. I've got it cut down, and now I'm just taking and making sure that it fits, getting all the plastic out of all the little bits of plastic out. So, yep. I think that we are almost good to go. I need to just kind of hit that on the inside just a little bit. It's like flash, because what I do, I take and I sand that. And so that sanding kind of melts the plastic. And you just got to kind of clean it up. But other than that, this, once I get this speaker in, this will be completed. So, make sure I've got everything out. It feels good. As I run that blade down through there, I'm not catching any edges. Okay. Yep, that will slip right in there. Yep, that will go. Okay, let me pull that back out. And then I can put some, and I'm using this plastic strut to seal this speaker in here. So there we go. Popped right in. Okay. Close my bottle here before it tips over. Now we'll tin these two. If I can get my solder out far enough. There's one. There's two. All right, kind of putting some stuff away here as we go. Now I just need to reconnect the wiring. And that is a friction fit in there, so I don't have to I'll show you how I fasten it down. There's one. I've kind of made that as short as possible, so I'm trying to line that up. This is one of those places where you need like 3 hands. To do something. And I know you can't see that, but okay. That got that. All right. Now we'll get our speakers centered again. We'll get our decoder lined up. Okay, and you can see I've got a piece of double-sided tape there that contacts the board. And then we can just making sure that my contacts aren't touching anything. And that will stay right there in place. So that is good to go. Actually, I'll look through my magnifier here just to make sure. Okay, I'm going to pull the decoder off here for a second. Okay, I'm going to put a piece of Kapton tape right there across those two. Actually, I'll put it on the decoder. That way I know it won't be touching anything. Because there's an SD card in these decoders. So I'm going to run a piece of tape right around. That way we'll know for sure that we are not touching anything. Put the decoder on the right way. Yep. We're all good to go. Good to go. All right. Yep. Now I know I'm not touching anything. So we'll put the body back on, the shell. I don't have it lined up. There it went. So we've got this installation complete. And now we can hook it up and we can test it. So everything is good to go right there. And I'm going to test it out and I'll be back. All right, I've got this finished up and I have adjusted the volumes down on this so we won't blow that 1-watt speaker. But I mean, it still sounds good. So there's the short horn. There's the long horn. There you can hear the dynamo ramp up. So I turn the headlight on and I'll kind of pull that around there where you can see that headlight. So let's start this up. And I haven't adjusted any of the chuff settings. mean, it doesn't look like it's too far off on the chuff, but it could probably be adjusted, but so I think it sounds pretty good. We got all that stuffed into that tender back there. So I've had it up on the test track for a little bit and ran it. And yeah, if you want to use that speaker, turn it down some. So we're going to call this project good. And thanks for watching.